So guys, I might have a little bit of a problem here.
Stay a while and listen.
So this is going to be a bit of a different type of video for me. I wanted to cover the laptops, plural, that I've gotten this year. I've been wanting to do a video on this for a while now, and after my move that I made yesterday with this guy right here, I definitely wanted to cover a video. Actually, this is going to be a two-part video on these. So let's rewind back to January 12th. Jay's 2 cents, I'm going to put a little picture on the screen right here, did this video. And I'm going to remember to try to link it up in the top of the screen here, and I'll put a link in the description. But he did this video on this Asus Tuff gaming laptop right here. This is on Amazon. At the time, this was $649. And we bought this on January 12th. And I ended up making this purchase for my daughter because she's been getting really good grades in school, and we were talking to my wife about getting her her own computer. And I was contemplating building a desktop, but then we came across this video that Jay's 2 cents had done. And this was an amazing buy. I could not have built a desktop for the value of what this computer gets out of it. So what really brought me onto this is Intel 10th gen, so it's a little bit old, but not too bad. It's only 3 generations behind. It's got 8 gigs of pre-installed RAM, but only in one stick, and the motherboard has 2 slots on it. So instantly upgradable. Same with the hard drive. It only came with a 512 gigabyte hard drive, but the motherboard has 2 M.2 slots. So what we ended up doing with this is we bought the laptop for $649. We bought a NVMe M.2 drive for about $60 from Target. I had some gift cards. And we got a stick of RAM, another 8 gig stick for like $25 on Amazon. Actually, there was a bundle and save option with this computer. The memory cost $25, and we got $29 off of the bundle and save. So the RAM actually ended up being free, which was amazing. So aside from that, it's got full HD display. Like I said, 8 gigs of RAM, which we upgraded to 16. A 512 gigabyte SSD, which we upgraded and put a 1 terabyte in there in addition to that. A GeForce GTX 1650 dedicated graphics card. I've been using this thing off and on as a camera account for Minecraft for when I'm doing like overlaps recordings. Great laptop for the price. Now, the only issue that this had, and if you read or if you watch Jay's video, he explains it as well. They advertise this as having a 90 watt hour battery, and that is absolutely incorrect. It's got like a 48 watt hour battery. And I noticed that it is still listed in here incorrectly. But now, let's fast forward to April 2nd. I, look back at time to time because I'm curious how the prices change on stuff. And I noticed that this computer had an updated version. So now we got this for my wife because we had just gotten our taxes. It has an Intel 11th gen 11400H processor with an RTX 2050 graphics card. Same memory and hard disks layout, but also the same upgradability on the motherboard. It's got the same 2 slots of RAM, only 1 occupied, 2 M.2 slots, only 1 occupied. Another great buy, and this ended up only being $50 more than the original laptop we got. And as you saw, the original laptop has now gone up to $729 for some reason. So now you can get a 1 gen newer for less than the generation before it. So what are we going to do today? So I'm going to show you how easy it is to open up this laptop. We've got a Crucial M.2. This is just a PCIe 3.0 because for what my wife is doing for this, she didn't need the faster Gen 4. So this is up to 3500 megabits per second read speed. It's a 1 terabyte, and then we have a single stick of Crucial 8 gigabyte RAM. Now, the only downside to doing it like this is I'm not replacing the original stick of RAM that's on the board. So we're just going to add another 8 gigs, so they're not going to be matching pairs. And because of when you do that, you lose a little bit of the RAM speed. Like the RAM speed in my daughter's laptop and in my wife's. Now, well, my wife's, because my daughter's has been replaced. So let me restart. The RAM speed in my wife's with the single stick runs at 3200 megahertz. The RAM in my daughter's, since we added the extra 8 gig, it's 16 gigs, but they're running at only 2933 because they're not matching pairs. Normally, when you're looking to upgrade, you would try to get matching pairs so that you can get the fastest speed out of that RAM as you can. There doesn't seem to be any setting in the BIOS to change the RAM speed. I've looked on both computers, but for what they're doing with these computers, going from 3200 to 2933 is not enough of a performance loss. So they're not really going to notice anything. And this was the budget option for upgrading these. You know, $700 laptop. You know, I say that's a budget laptop. Some people may not, but the truth of the matter is you can't find a $400 laptop anymore. Not one that's worth anything. I've got, this was my laptop before. It's a Lenovo. It crapped out on me. It doesn't post anymore. It just goes into a boot loop every time. Every 30 seconds it reboots. It doesn't get a post screen, no BIOS, no display, nothing. And this laptop's from 2014. It was not worth my effort to try to take it somewhere and try to get it fixed. So, yeah, this was a $400 laptop when I got it. I felt like this was a budget. You cannot get a good laptop for $400 anymore. You really can't. So when I say that $649, $699, those are definitely budget laptops, especially for the performance we're getting out of these things. But what I want to do is I want to show you guys how easy it is to open up this laptop and install these components. Because a lot of people are very weary on upgrading anything in a laptop. You think that you don't want to open it up, you don't want to touch it. It's not like opening up a desktop. And I want to show you, especially with this brand, that it's super easy. Okay, so as you saw from the Amazon windows, that these are Asus Tuff laptops. And they make these things super easy to open up. We've got 4 screws along the bottom, we've got 3 in the middle, and then we got another 4 up top. So 11 screws total gets this case open. So you need to get yourself a small Phillips head screwdriver. I'm just using this flashlight kit that's got a bunch of screwdrivers on it. Not exactly the best thing for this, but it does have a little light on the back that helps me see a little bit better. But literally, pull the screws out. I like to keep them on the side in the exact order I take them out, because I can't remember. I think a couple of the screws are slightly longer than the others. So whenever you take something apart, trying to keep everything in the same exact order so you put them all back in and the same. Yeah, like right here, that second screw was longer than the first one on the camera. So this first screw and second screw are different. It's kind of hard to see here. Let me put them in my hand like this so you guys can see. So yeah, the second screw was longer than the first one. So that's why I'll usually have a little setup on the side here. Now, some laptops, they may have like proprietary screw types. You might need special screwdrivers. All right, and this one in the corner, I noticed the same exact thing when I did my daughter's. That this one screw, for some reason, is hard to get out. I'm going to try my flathead bit here, just to pop this up. That's not working. Here are needle nose pliers here, so I'm going to unscrew this at the same time I'm pulling up on it. I don't know why. It seems like the head on the, or not the head, but the back end of the screw is a little wonky. I did have this problem with my daughter's laptop, but it wasn't giving me as much trouble as this one is. We're going to leave that there because I don't want to keep scratching up the edge of the case there. We'll see. I should be able to still get the this piece off. I don't know if that's just a small manufacturing defect in the screw, but I know one of my daughter's ones had that same, but I was actually able to get it out. Having a screwdriver with a slight magnetic pull on it really helps to get these out. Well, all right, so we got 4 more screws here. Okay, now that is all the screws. Now, one thing you need to be able to get this off, because it doesn't just come off, you kind of need to get a little tool underneath the lip of this lid. And you typically, I learned when doing my daughters, do not use anything metal because you will just start scuffing up the side of the case. So you need something plastic that can pry under there. What I found really good is using like a garbage gift card. It's kind of rounded on the edge. It's perfect for getting under this. So what we are going to do, let me see if I can show this off on the camera. We are going to get this up under this lip somewhere. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I found a spot in the case where I can get my nail under there to get enough space to slip this card in here. And now we're just going to run this card along the length, and we're going to pop the little clips that are holding this in. Try to show you guys how I'm doing this. And as I'm doing this, the case is separating from the rest of the computer. And then we're just going to run this along the whole case. Now this right here is where that one screw didn't want to come out. We're going to see, I think it's just going to be attached to the, yeah, it's just attached to this little back piece. So it'll come off just fine. So we're going to continue running this along. It's just these little clips that are holding this on. You're not damaging anything, but I would not use anything metal to take this off. I'm going to keep the laptop in the same orientation I had it when I took the screws out so that I know the screws are in the same order. So now I've got 3 out of the 4 sides up. It's not cooperating with me on that side. Let's try this side. There it goes. You got to use a very slight amount of force. You don't want to force it. Just get this card or whatever little plastic flat tool you're using underneath the lip and keep working it around until you free this case. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to leave this back the way I had it. We're going to take this off. Now here's the underside of our laptop. And here's the meat and potatoes. So we got the copper vents that funnel the heat out. So let's see. Right here is our one M.2 slot. You can't really see it because they have this covering it. Let me see if I can get this off. So they've got some thermal stuff over the top of it to help disperse the heat. So we're not going to mess with that because that's the already installed one. Over here is our second M.2 slot right here. And that is where this guy is going to go. So we're going to do that first. Now the M.2 that I bought, it comes with the screw. I don't need it because this board already has a screw installed here. So we're going to pop the screw out. If you guys have never messed with an M.2, super easy to put these in. They're almost like a RAM stick. Open this up. Get this crucial. And this looks like this one already has some kind of like thermal pad on top of it, so it's perfect. I don't need anything extra. You can get ones that have heat spreaders on them. All right, so we are just going to slot that in there. You heard it kind of click in. And we're going to grab this screw. And it's a very, very small screw. Be careful. That's why having a slightly magnetic tipped screwdriver helps. Just don't touch any of the components on the motherboard with that. And we're just going to screw this down, and that just holds that card in place. All right, so right here is our RAM slots. Here's our single stick of RAM that comes in it. And, well, that just came right off. We'll stick that back on when we're done. So we are just going to slide in the second stick of DDR4 that we got. This is also Crucial brand. And these are only going to go in one direction because there's more pins on one side than the other. So just figure out which direction that goes in. Slide it in on an angle. Lock it in. Push it down. It clips in with those metal clips. And we're just going to stick this cover back on here. And we are done. That is it. Super easy to upgrade this. All we got to do now is throw the case back on. And you see, I don't know if you guys can see that there. It's going to be upside down for you. There's the battery right here. This is a 48 watt hour battery. Like I said, with my daughter's laptop on the 10300H, they advertised it incorrectly online as a 90 watt hour battery. It is not. Both of these are 48 watt hour batteries. Now we're going to grab this case and we're going to start locking it back in. And it's just going to, as we push this on, it's just going to start clipping back or clicking back in. Just kind of work your way around the outside and keep until all those little tabs that we popped with that card clip back in. It sounds like we're all the way back in now, and now we're just going to screw it back up. I'll show you when we get this thing turned back on, and we'll get you into the BIOS screen and show you where it's detecting everything. Okay, we're going to try to show this the best we can with the webcam, because obviously I'm not in Windows or have an OBS session up on this computer, so I can't really show it off that way. We're going to power this thing on. We got it plugged in. And we're going to hit F2 as the BIOS button on this computer. So we're just going to hit F2 on this so we get into the BIOS. Now it may be rescanning to detect the memory change. Okay, so now we're in BIOS. Let's see if we can get a better view here. So it's got a basic and advanced BIOS look. And it doesn't look like you can change much on here. So now it's right here, it's showing that we have the 16 384 megabytes of RAM. So it's detecting the second RAM slot. And it's detecting the starter SSD, the 512. And if I hit this, it is showing the 1 terabyte drive right there. And I will show you when we get in Windows how you make sure that the computer is able to access that drive. Okay, so once again, I've got the webcam pointed. I've got this hooked up to my monitor over here so that it's a little easier to see. Unfortunately, I don't have OBS on this laptop, so I can't really screen record what I'm doing on it. But there's a couple things you need to do. First off, we're going to go to Task Manager. And we are going to double check that we are seeing our RAM. Okay, so we've got the 15.7 gigs. That's what Windows detects out of the 2 8 gig sticks. Also, this laptop is actually detecting the RAM at the full 3200. So it looks like the Crucial stick that I got is compatible with the one that comes with the motherboard. So that's good. So we're getting the full speed out of this with the 16 gigs of RAM. So now if we were to go to this PC, you see we're not showing the other drive yet. So what we need to do is we need to go to Disk Management. And that's going to show us all of our disks and our partitions. So it's showing you must initialize the disk. So we're going to hit OK because it's just going to be a partition table. We do not want a master boot record because that's our main drive. So hit OK. Now it's showing the unallocated space right here. So we are going to right click on this and we are going to do New Simple Volume. And we are just going to hit Next because we want the maximum space. We're not going to partition this drive. It's just going to auto assign it to letter D. If you wanted to assign it to a different letter, you could. File System NTFS. We're just going to leave all this as default because we don't need to change the labels or anything. And we're just going to perform a quick format. Finish. And it should now be viewable. When we go back in here, we go to this PC. Bam. We've got the new volume, the 931 gigabytes free. So this is what I told my wife is wait to install stuff until I get the second drive in this thing, because with your OS drive only being 512 and with all the different boot partitions you see in here, it's got this drive partitioned into a bunch of different sections. So we only have access to 475 gigabytes of this drive. So even with Windows and some other basic things that come with the computer, it's already down to almost 400 gigabytes. So that'll fill up really fast. So that's why we were installing a second drive in this thing. So now she should have plenty of space to install games or whatever she wants to put on here. And with NVMe drives, they make up to 4 terabytes. So I could have gone with a 2 terabyte or a 4 terabyte drive. But I figured that 1 terabyte was going to be plenty. And this drive on Amazon was only like $47, I think. I will post links in the bottom of the description of this video for all the links for that memory that I put in here, for the SSD that I put in here, as well as the links to the computer itself. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to bring up this listing for Best Buy, because this is the other laptop that I just ran out and got. Now, we were helping out a Discord member, Mia Sage, with looking for a computer, and I kept talking up these Asus Tuff computers. And they found this on Best Buy, and I thought it was such a good deal that I ran out and bought one myself. So we're going to talk more about this in the next video, and I'm going to be ordering upgrade parts and doing the same thing on this computer. And the video will be an unboxing, because I haven't opened the computer yet either. But I wanted to bring this up at the end of the video because this right now is on sale for $7.99 through May 7th at Best Buy. And this is in the US, of course. But you can order this online. I don't know if I'll have this video released before May 7th hits, but this is such an amazing deal. Almost $300 off on this computer. I didn't realize this was a weekly sale until I went to my Best Buy location and bought it and seen that it was on sale through May 7th. So if you are thinking about getting a very decent laptop for a really good price that is upgradable, I'm actually going to be upgrading this thing. It comes with the same 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it comes with DDR5, which is crazy. So it comes with 4800 megahertz DDR5. And everything I looked up on this, it only supports the 4800 megahertz. So it doesn't seem like I'd be able to put a 52 or a 5600 RAM into this computer. I'm going to I'm going to replace the 8 gig stick. I'm going to get two 16 gig sticks and make this thing 32 because it says in here that 32 is the maximum supported. But yet somebody else in one of the reviews said that they were able to put a 32 in there with the 8 and they did show 40. So 32 may not be the max, but I'm just going to go with that because that's going to be good for me. And I'm going to get a 2 terabyte SSD as the second drive for this computer. And we'll show the unboxing and all this stuff in the next video. But I definitely wanted to bring this up now because this is a limited time sale. So if anyone is in the market to get a very good laptop, I highly recommend it. And this one, the other two were Intel 10th and 11th gen. This is a Ryzen 7 6800. Let me find out, where does it list the actual... Right here. This is a Ryzen 7 6800H processor. So this is only one gen behind the brand new stuff that just came out at the tail end of last year. It's got a GeForce RTX 3050 Ti. Great laptop all the way around. I haven't opened it yet, so I'm only speaking great laptop from the specs. When we open it and start messing with it in the next video, I'll actually get a hands-on. But from the experience I've had with these other two Tuff laptops, I would highly recommend this. But I definitely wanted to throw this in at the end of the video because limited time sale price. If you're in the market for a new laptop, this might be a good one to jump on. But yeah, that's just gonna about do it for this video. So the next video in this installment will be me unboxing this guy right here, showing it off. We're gonna order the upgrade parts for this, and we'll be installing those just like we did on my wife's laptop here. And let me know if you like this kind of content. This is completely different for my channel. I may try to do some little stuff like this here and there when I have components that I can show off. Like, I don't think I'm going to turn this channel into a tech channel, but if I have something cool to show off that might help people out there, I definitely want to do it. So that's going to be all for this time. And my name is Aggro, and I gotta skate. Later.